Gravity Falls might be known for its quirky humor and colorful mysteries, but let's be real. Some episodes cross the line into straight-up nightmare fuel. From shape-shifting monsters to haunted mansions and full-blown zombie outbreaks. This kids show isn't afraid to dip into pure horror. So today, we're diving into the creepiest episodes of Gravity Falls, the ones that left fans wide-eyed, shivering, and wondering how Disney ever let these air. On number 3, we have the Scary-oke episode, the very first episode of the new season. Season 2 opens with a bang, and it's not a friendly one. This episode was not only a scary one, but a slightly scary sample of what viewers will see further in the season. The episode starts late at night, while the rest of Gravity Falls slept soundly. Grunkle Stan stood alone in the basement of the Mystery Shack. Before him was a massive machine, something he had spent 30 years secretly building, piece by piece. Nobody knew about it. Not Dipper, not Mabel, not even Seuss. It's the same one Ford spent decades building. Well, of course, at that time, viewers didn't know what it was. It sure would have been creepy in itself. With a final pull of a lever wearing the six-fingered glove, the device roared to life, flooding the entire town in an eerie blue glow. The energy it released wasn't just local. Miles away, government agents picked up a strange signal on their monitors, the kind of spike they hadn't seen in 30 years. Shocked by the readings, they immediately traced the source back to Gravity Falls and prepared to investigate. By morning, Stan was back to business as usual, putting on his showman smile as he announced the grand reopening of the Mystery Shack, a party for successfully defeating Gideon, who we just saw in a scene is in jail and has already spent 9 days in there. To complete the party, Stan announced a massive after-party later that night. On the surface, everything seemed normal, but Dipper had other concerns. Summer was already half over and the mysteries of Gravity Falls felt bigger and more dangerous than ever. If he didn't start piecing them together soon, he feared he might never get the answers. He begged Stan for the return of Journal 3, desperate to continue his research. Stan, without any delay, handed over the journal, which he had hidden under the counter and had already made copies of. Classic Stan. But the day took a darker turn when 2 men in black suits pulled up to the shack. Seuss spotted them first, and Stan instantly recognized the kind of trouble they represented. These weren't tourists, they were federal agents, and they had come with questions about the strange energy the town had just experienced. Stan tried to brush them off, and even tried to bribe them. But the agents weren't buying this act. They pushed inside, searching for evidence, while Dipper listened in from the shadows. When he heard them mention they were investigating the supernatural, his heart raced. This was his chance to prove he wasn't just chasing fairy tales. He offered to show them the journal, to team up and uncover the town's secrets. But the agents barely had time for him, handing over a business card before leaving. Stan, determined to keep a lid on things, snatched the card away before Dipper could do anything with it and kept it in his contraband box. That night, the after-party kicked into full swing. The shack was buzzing with music, food, and guests. But Dipper wasn't celebrating. With Wendy's help, he snuck into Stan's room, eventually uncovering the business card and calling the agents in secret. He told them he had the proof they were looking for, the journal. But before he could say much more, Stan caught him and slammed the phone down. The fight that followed was explosive. Dipper accused Stan of never taking him seriously, while Stan grounded him for sneaking around. The tension between them hung heavy, but Dipper wasn't ready to give up. When the agents returned, Dipper proudly showed them the journal, eager to prove the truth once and for all. Those agents, when they saw the book, their response was pretty normal. I mean, who would believe in gnomes, stomach-faced duck from just a book? And Leprechaun made it worse. They tried hard not to laugh at Dipper. Oh wait, they are incapable of humor. They said your grunkle was right. You have an overactive imagination. But in his desperation, he made a critical mistake. He read aloud from one of the pages.
Corpus levitus, Diablo Dominus, Mondo Vicia!
The spell he read in Latin, Corpus levitus, Diablo Dominium, Mondo Vicium, which translates to a light body, devil's domain, I clean up the immoral. These words stirred something in the earth beneath their feet. The ground split open and cold, rotting hands clawed their way out. Dipper kept his cool, thinking it's just one zombie. But one by one, the dead dragged themselves into the open. First, a single corpse, then a dozen, then an entire army of zombies. The three of them tried to fight back, but the horde was too much. The agents were tackled and dragged down screaming, leaving Dipper to barely escape with his life. When he stumbled back to the shack, he found the party had ended. The guests were gone, leaving only Mabel and Seuss behind. Mabel asked Dipper about the incident.
What's the one thing I asked you not to do tonight?
Raise the dead.
And what did you do?
Raise the dead.
Because she literally requested him not to raise the dead.
Can't you go one night without searching for aliens or raising the dead or whatever?
I'm not gonna raise the dead. I just need a chance to show those agents my book.
The zombies followed Dipper and they swarmed the shack. In the chaos, Seuss was bitten. His skin turned a ghastly shade of green. His eyes rolled back and he flipped aside, leaving Dipper and Mabel horrified and alone. They scrambled to barricade the doors and windows, but the undead just kept coming, relentless and hungry. Just as one zombie grabbed Dipper, teeth bared and ready to bite, Stan stormed in swinging with everything he had. For the first time, he couldn't deny the truth. Magic was real, and it was far more dangerous than he'd admitted. He fought really hard, showing the strength of his punches and those gold knuckles. The Pines regrouped in the attic, desperately flipping through the journal for a way out. Then, under the glow of a backlight, Dipper discovered the hidden text. On the page of zombies, there was also a hidden text. Zombies have a weakness previously thought to be invincible. Their skulls can be shattered by a perfect 3-part harmony. It sounded ridiculous, but it was their only shot. So, under the moonlight, the family climbed onto the roof, with zombies closing in from every direction. Dipper, Mabel, and Stan belted out the loudest, most chaotic song they could manage. Their voices rang through the night, dissonant but powerful. And one by one, the skulls of the undead cracked and shattered. The horde collapsed around them until nothing but silence remained. The Pines survived, but the night left a chilling mark. The government was closing in. The dead had already risen. And beneath it all, Stan's mysterious machine kept humming in the basement, waiting to unleash something even more dangerous than the horrors they had just faced. Wait, are we forgetting something? Yeah, right, Seuss. What happened to Seuss? He was immune to song because he preferred watching the Gossiping Housewives episode over eating those brains. He remained inside the shack, and after the song was over, the only zombie left was Seuss. But thanks to the journal, there was a cure for zombification. The recipe? Formaldehyde, salt, paint thinner, newt's blood, and cinnamon. Gross, but hey, it works. Ford also documents other defenses. Enchanted daggers can take them down. Ford, in the journal, mentioned that most of them are old lumberjacks too, victims of the Great Flood of '63, which left their bodies buried under and around the Mystery Shack. So, what makes Scary-oke creepy? It's the atmosphere. The episode starts lighthearted, then suddenly shifts into classic survival horror. The zombies aren't cartoony. They're fast, violent, and overwhelming, with glowing eyes and decayed faces. The Mystery Shack turns from party central into a fortress under siege, making it feel more like a horror movie than a Disney cartoon. The next episode we're covering dives even darker into Gravity Falls, the second creepiest episode, Into the Bunker. Unlike the supernatural chaos of Scary-oke, this one blends personal tension with claustrophobic horror, trapping the characters in one of the most terrifying environments the show has ever given us. The episode begins pretty casually. Dipper and Wendy are hanging out watching a corny horror flick, the kind of scene that feels light and normal for Gravity Falls. But when Wendy gets a text from one of her exes, Dipper's crush resurfaces. He tries to ask if she's still with him, but when she says no, Dipper thinks, just for a second, that this might be his moment. But the nerves win, and instead of confessing, he pivots. He invites her to come exploring with him, Mabel, and Seuss. Soon, the group is gathered at the base of an old gnarled tree. According to the journal, there could be secrets hidden beneath it, maybe even clues to the author's whereabouts. Wendy spots a suspicious branch that looks like a lever. She yanks it down and the earth splits open to reveal a steel hatch leading into the darkness. The descent is slow and tense. The bunker's air feels heavy, untouched for decades, and the walls are lined with rusted equipment, survival gear, and strange devices that hint at someone preparing for an apocalypse. At first, it seems like just an abandoned shelter, but that changes fast. While poking around, Wendy tears a poster from the wall, revealing a crawl space. They squeeze through and find themselves in another chamber. This one colder, more mechanical. And that's when things turn dangerous. Mabel accidentally pushes Dipper into a pressure plate. The hatch slams shut, and the walls literally begin closing in. They barely manage to escape being crushed alive, but the scare is enough to make one thing clear. Whoever built this bunker didn't want anyone getting in or out. They reach into another room with consoles and lab equipment scattered about. Then comes the moment that flips everything upside down. Locked in a closet by Mabel, who's determined to force Dipper to confess his feelings to Wendy, the two stumble on a hidden mechanism. When the chain drops, the decontamination process starts. And a door grinds open, and beyond it lies the remnants of a broken laboratory. Glass cases smashed open, steel cages twisted apart, and something is missing. The deeper they go, the more disturbing the environment becomes. The rooms are clawed up, the tunnels warped and unnatural, as if something inhuman had been clawing through the metal for years. When they were running from what seems to be responsible for those tunnels, that's when they encountered him. A strange man hiding in the bunker who saved them from the monster at the last moment. At first glance, it seems like he could be the author. He knows things. He talks with authority, talks about the monster.
It's one of my experiments, a shapeshifter, able to take the form of anyone or anything it sees. It broke free from a cage of solid steel. I've gone half crazy trying to catch the creature alone, but now you're here. Will you help me catch it?
For a moment, Dipper's excitement nearly overwhelms his fear. But at the same time, Mabel and Seuss found something. They came to know about this shapeshifter and realized Dipper and Mabel might be in danger. The seem-to-be author takes Wendy and Dipper to its lair and tries to trick them by saying, "I could defeat the creature if I had my journals." Listening to this, Dipper offers the journal. It was all his plan. He needed that journal to copy the monsters which the author had written about in it. Then Wendy found an old can of Baron Num Num's beans, and they realized it was the same guy. They knew something was off and tried to get the journal back. And then it happens. His body bends in ways no human body should. His skin ripples, and then comes a pretty scary jump scare. The disguise falls away. It isn't the author, it's a monster, the shapeshifter. This creature is pure nightmare fuel. It doesn't just imitate appearances, it becomes them, twisting its body into an almost perfect copy of anyone it sees. He starts taking the form of creatures from the journal. The Gremlin, the gnomes, and the hide-behind. But here's a mystery. How did it take the form of a hide-behind? These things are basically undefeated at hide-and-seek. His clear picture is not even in the journal. The author never saw him, and yet the shapeshifter takes its form perfectly. But that remains a mystery. It starts taking the form of everyone. At one point, it even tries to merge into both twins at once, creating a horrific hybrid of Mabel and Dipper with two voices spilling out at the same time. It was really horrific. The shapeshifter plays with them, stalking them, taunting Dipper about his insecurities, and worst of all, getting its hands on Journal 3. Dipper fights desperately to get it back. Wendy jumps in to help, but in the chaos, he and Wendy are separated. When Dipper found her later, she was knocked unconscious, and in his panic, Dipper knelt beside her, blurting out a confession of his feelings. But in the shadows behind him, the real Wendy steps forward. Dipper is startled because the Wendy at his feet isn't Wendy at all. It's the shapeshifter. Now Dipper is trapped in the ultimate nightmare. Two Wendys, both begging him to trust them, both insisting the other is fake. The shapeshifter doesn't attack right away. It waits, letting Dipper sweat, forcing him to question his own instincts. Who's real? Who's lying? If he chooses wrong, he kills his friend. It's only when the real Wendy gives him a subtle signal that Dipper makes his move. He swings the axe, slicing open the shapeshifter's stomach. The shapeshifter snarls, letting out its roar. They both shove it into a containment chamber, locking the monster away once and for all. But just before the gang was about to leave, the shapeshifter delivers one last bone-chilling revelation.
You think you're so clever, don't you, Dipper? But you have no idea what you're up against. You will never find the author. If you keep digging, you'll meet a fate worse than you can imagine. And this will be the last form you ever take!
Fast forward to Northwest Mansion Mystery. Dipper faces off with a vengeful ghost, only to be turned into wood in the exact same pose, with the same eerily distorted voice effect.
No, someone help! Someone help!
Coincidence? That's what makes this truly eerie. The shapeshifter has no established psychic powers, yet his warning? It comes terrifyingly close to coming true. It's another unsolved mystery. The group escapes, but the tension lingers. The shapeshifter is one of the scariest creatures Gravity Falls ever introduced, and the bunker itself is just as unsettling. It's claustrophobic, mechanical, and full of dead ends. You feel trapped right alongside the characters, and every flicker of light could mean the monster is back. It's not just creepy because of the scares. It's creepy because it feels like a warning. If a single creature like this were hiding under Gravity Falls, what else could be out there? And if the author is truly alive, what horrors has he seen that made him build this bunker in the first place? Okay, so if you're wondering how the shapeshifter reached the bunker and what the shapeshifter actually is, then watch our previous video, All Monsters in Gravity Falls. I've explained it in detail there. Now moving on to the next one. Unlike the playful chills of earlier episodes, Northwest Mansion Mystery wastes no time diving headfirst into the dark. This episode starts creepy. At the lavish Northwest Manor, servants scramble to polish silver and hang decorations for the year's most exclusive party. The kind of event the entire town camps outside for, just for a glimpse of the glamour. But as preparations continue, something else begins to stir. The fine china suddenly rises into the air. Utensils hover, trembling as if held by unseen hands. Then, without warning, they lash out, striking at the staff. The ground shakes beneath the marble floors. Glass shatters. It isn't just a disturbance, it's an attack. And strangest of all, Preston Northwest doesn't look surprised. It's almost as if he knew this would happen. But all he cares about is keeping the haunting quiet long enough to protect his family's perfect reputation. While they are hiding, a newspaper falls, and on that is news about the heroic mystery solver, the Dipper. Of course, now they would call him to solve this mystery. Back at the Mystery Shack, Dipper's TV night is interrupted by breaking news. The legendary Northwest Party is about to begin. Everyone wants a ticket, including Mabel and her friend. Then, a knock at the door changes everything. Pacifica Northwest herself shows up on the Pines' doorstep. She needs Dipper's help. At first, Dipper refuses. She knocks again. She's desperate. Something is haunting her family's mansion, and she asks Dipper for help. She's pale, nervous, and shaken. Dipper still doesn't trust her. He remembers all too well how Pacifica has treated them in the past. But Mabel convinces him otherwise. If they help, they'll finally get into the party of the year. Reluctantly, Dipper agrees, but only on one condition: 3 invitations. Since Pacifica was desperate, she agreed. That night, Dipper steps into the Northwest Mansion, and immediately the wealth on display feels almost grotesque. Gold-framed portraits loom over him. Chandeliers glitter with unnatural brightness. Preston greets him with false charm, expecting that he would be able to solve this within an hour. He instructs Pacifica to make sure Dipper looks presentable. For once, Pacifica doesn't throw around insults. She simply leads him, still shaken, toward the room where the haunting first began. The room definitely looks scary. Dipper tries to stay calm, assuring her that hauntings come in 10 categories and floating dishes are the lowest tier. But before the worst are out of his mouth, his ghost detector begins shrieking. The signal points straight to a painting, a grim lumberjack staring down from the canvas. Dipper glances away for a moment, but when he looks back, the portrait is empty. That's when the house comes alive. The mounted animal heads along the walls begin to bleed from the eyes and mouth, their jaws opening in unison as they chant in guttural tones, ancient sins. The voices grow louder, the blood flows thicker, and a heavy voice utters,
Ancient blood and blackened skies, the forest dark shall once more rise.
The fire roars violently in the hearth until at last a skeletal figure drags itself out of the fireplace. Its bones knit together, forming the terrifying ghost of the lumberjack from the painting. He drags his axe across the floor, sparks flying with each step, and growls that he can sense a northwest nearby. Pacifica asks Dipper to check the book for any way to defeat him. But when Dipper saw the advice section on the Category 10 page, it was pray for mercy. The ghost raises his weapon high and swings. The blade slams into the floor, missing her by inches. They both ran towards the hallway as the chase began. The mansion twists into a labyrinth of shadows as they run. Behind them, the ghost is hovering. Dipper frantically flips through the journal as they flee. At last, he finds something. Certain spirits can be trapped in silver mirrors. There's one down the hall. But Pacifica hesitates. Running that way would ruin her parents' prized carpet. Even now, her upbringing makes her hesitate, and she and Dipper bicker as the ghost closes on them. Their argument ends when the wall cracks behind them, sending them tumbling through a painting into a secret room Pacifica has never seen before. They thought they were safe, but the ghost knows it well. He crashes in after them, literally comes out of a painting. In the chaos, Dipper finds a silver mirror. Pacifica runs, but the ghost catches up to her and raises his axe once more. At the last second, Dipper thrusts the silver mirror forward. The spirit screams, his form twisting violently before he's pulled inside, pushing both Dipper and Pacifica out of the window. But now, the ghost is sealed behind the glass. For the moment, it seems the nightmare's over, but his haunting has only just revealed its true face. Dipper, still clutching the mirror, makes his way back to Preston and Priscilla Northwest. They shower him with hollow gratitude, acting as though the problem is solved. I mean, they won't even shake his hand, but as Dipper studies the mirror, something unexpected happens. The ghost inside begins to laugh. Confused, Dipper reminds him that he lost. He's trapped. But the ghost only chuckles harder. His voice grows colder, sharper. He whispers,
You've been had, boy. You remind me of me 150 years ago.
Then he begins to tell his story. Over 150 years ago, the Northwest had commissioned lumber workers to build their sprawling mansion on the hill. The workers were promised that the manor would serve the people, that every year the gates would open and the townsfolk would feast inside. The workers, believing this was for the good of Gravity Falls, labored for years until the mansion was complete. But when the time came, the promise was broken. The gates never opened. The feast never came. The townsfolk were left outside in the cold, betrayed. The lumberjack, who now spoke from the mirror, had demanded that the Northwests honor their word. But instead of facing justice, he was crushed beneath a mudslide, his body mangled, his axe mounted on his head. With his dying breath, he cursed the family. 150 years from now, these gates remain closed. Wealthy blood will stain the earth. And now, the 150 years are up. Dipper's stomach turns. He realizes the haunting tonight wasn't a random occurrence. The Northwests knew this curse would one day come due, and rather than open their gates, they planned to use Dipper as their scapegoat to silence the ghost. Enraged, Dipper storms back to Preston, demanding the truth. Preston doesn't even flinch. He simply smirks, dismissing Dipper's outrage as childish nonsense. But Pacifica hears everything. She had always obeyed her parents, playing the perfect daughter. But for the first time, she sees the full depth of their cruelty. The lies, the manipulation, all to preserve their name. She whispers that she never wanted this, but her father quickly silences her with the bell as if she were some animal. Meanwhile, the ghost makes his move. He begs Dipper to free him, to let him finish what he started 150 years ago. Dipper refuses, saying, I feel you, bro, but my sister's in there. The spirit changes his request. Very well, boy. Then before you banish my soul, made these tired old lumber eyes gaze upon the trees one final time. Against his better judgment, Dipper lifts the mirror toward the trees. In that moment, the ghost with a laugh blazes himself and tears himself free. His spectral body exploded back into the mansion. Dipper realized he had been tricked. The curse takes hold. The ghost arises and begins speaking in poetic language. I mean, see for yourself.
Generations locked away, my revenge shall have its day.
People began turning into wood. Screams echo through the once elegant halls as mounted animal heads wrench themselves from the walls, coming to life with gnashing teeth. The ballroom dissolves into chaos, chandeliers swinging, roots and branches bursting from the walls, terrified guests petrified in oak. The lumberjack utters another rhyme.
Just one way to change your fates. A Northwest must open the party gates.
Dipper realizes he needs to convince Pacifica. He finds her in the hidden chamber once more, standing before relics of her family's secret sins. Her eyes are wide, shimmering with tears. This is what they wanted me to hide, she admits. This is who they really are. For the first time, Dipper softens. He tells her she doesn't have to be like them. She can make a different choice. And she's the only one who can stop the curse. Together, they run to the main hall. Nearly every guest is now frozen in wood, their faces forever locked in expressions of terror. The lumberjack ghost towers above them all, his axe raised, ready to burn down the Northwest Manor. Dipper tries to stand against him, but he's powerless. He himself became a statue. Pacifica alone has the chance to end it. By opening the gates to the townsfolk, the curse would be lifted. Her parents try to stop her, screaming that the gates must never be opened, that the Northwest legacy must stay pure. She hesitates, trembling, torn between fear and defiance. But then she remembers Dipper's words. She pulls the lever. Even the ghost is shocked. The great gates of Northwest Manor creak open, groaning as if in relief. The guests return to flesh. The roots retreat into the walls, and the mansion is left standing in eerie silence. The ghost lets out one final cry, not of rage, but of release. His body shatters into mist, and with it, the curse dissolves. The townsfolk rejoice as they pour into the estate for the first time in its history. Pacifica's parents are humiliated. For once, the promise is kept. In the end, the party resumes, but something has changed. Pacifica isn't the same shallow girl who first arrived at the Pines' door. She has seen her family's rot laid bare, and for once, she chose the right side. So, what do you think? Out of all the creepy episodes of Gravity Falls, which one kept you up at night? Was it the zombies breaking into the mystery shack, the ghost of a betrayed lumberjack seeking revenge, or the shapeshifter lurking in the bunker, waiting to wear your face? Drop your pick in the comments, and if I missed the one that gave you chills, let me know. Who knows, I might dig into it next time. And remember, in Gravity Falls, the strangest things aren't always in the woods or in the journals. Sometimes, they're right in front of you. Until then, keep your eyes open.